boo?
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So before we get started, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up if you like the content, and anything you feel like you would like to add, feel free to do so down below in the comment section. So we are back for episode 6 of Locke and Key. Now, Nina is at the detective station because we know last episode it ended with Joe being killed. So she's been trying to call Ellie, and Ellie is not answering the phone. Suspicious. So Nina is trying to tell the detective Joe didn't kill himself. Like, she played the voicemail for him. She was like, look, Joe called me, he said he had something to show me, like somebody who was trying to like show me something wouldn't kill themselves. And so the I don't know where they found this man at, but the whole police station just act like they was just incompetent. I was like, what is going on? Like, they act like they never seen nothing or did nothing. Do they know what's going on in the world? I was like, okay, this man's I don't know if it was his acting or just, I don't know. I was like, something is off. So he was acting slower than slow, and he was like, what? I don't understand. What do you mean? Like, oh my god. The detective has a box on his desk. It's full of like stuff from Joe's desk where they found his body, and he was like, oh, we found this. And so Nina thought she was gonna be able to go through it or whatever, but he was like, oh, this is evidence, so you can't touch it. At school, Scott and Jackie are like having, you know, like just a little talk about, you know, how great Joe was or whatever. But Ty isn't really focused on that too much because Ty's trying to figure out what the is going on with his daddy, because we saw these memories also in the last episode, which we know now are Duncan's, and I can only assume that Rendell took them. So Tyler's like, what? Who is this man? Scott and Kinsey are telling the rest of the Savinis. I finally figured out the name, y'all. I was like, what? The Savinis, they're telling them like, oh, we'll be able to, you know, film some more episodes, scenes of the movie to make it better. And this whole time, like, Gabe is looking at Kinsey all crazy, like, and he was like, and Scott's like, oh, but we already filmed one of the scenes. So they showed them the scene, and of course they used some type of magic to film it. And so Gabe is like, it's magical, and I was like, you get on my nerves. Like, I don't like you. He's just throwing hints at Kinsey like, oh, I know what this is. So Kinsey, when she gets home, apparently she has stored Duncan's memories under her bed. And I was like, why would you do that when you got Bo running through the house, like Inspector Gadget? Like, he's gonna find him any minute. Lord forbid he sees the memory of y'all's dad killing his friends. Like, how you gonna explain? So Kinsey goes downstairs, and Duncan is in one of the rooms, many rooms, honey. And she goes downstairs and she's like, do you remember this? And he looks at it or whatever, and he's like, it seems so familiar, but I just can't remember. And then he gets like this like headache type of thing. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? But I thought like maybe they were gonna like, oh, let's get the key, let's put him back in your head. They didn't do that. After Duncan looked at him, I think Nina called his name, and so he was like, Kinsey's like, I'm so sorry you can't remember any of this. And he was like, remember any of what? Like, with a snap, he forgot everything that just happened. So she put the memory back in the bag. And I was like, that's it? Like, y'all need to help this man. This man can't remember a thing. Help him. So Tyler runs out on Jackie. They're at her house, and you can just tell he's kind of just like staring off. He's like in his own world or whatever. And then, you know, she asked him if he's okay or whatever. He says, yeah. And they start making out. And apparently Tyler has been wearing his keys on a necklace under his clothes. So in the process of them making out, Jackie touched the keys. So Tyler's like, oh, wait. And he runs out on her. And I'm just like, you got to get your life together. She gonna drop you like in 0.3 seconds. Y'all gonna be done, finished, finito. So when Tyler gets home, Kinsey is coming down the stairs, and she's like, hey, I showed Duncan his memories. And Tyler's like, stop doing without me. And he's like, we need to discuss this stuff first. Like, just stop like running off and doing whatever the hell it is you want to do. So she's like, oh, by the way, I want to go to the sea caves because that's where Dad's friends drowned. And Tyler's like, no, we're not going out there. Nah, sis, we not going up out there. So Kinsey is persistent on the fact that her dad didn't kill his friends, even though we all seen it. She's seen it. He killed them. Tyler said, look, I'm sick of it. He took his key off. He threw it at her. He said, I'm done. Y'all can have this shit. I'm through. I don't care. Do what you want to do. Next day at school, they're holding like a little memorial or whatever for Joe. And so when they walk in, I immediately noticed that Tyler is avoiding Jackie. She was sitting and he didn't go sit with her. He went and sat somewhere else. But Nina seen Ellie, so she beelined it for her and went and sat down. And she's like, I've been calling you. Why ain't you been answering your phone? And Ellie's like, oh, this isn't the place and time for this. And she also tells her, she said, oh, I know you hiding something too. I was like, she's hiding because she killed Joe. She killed Joe, but she don't want to be caught. So Ellie's like, oh, shit. So Ellie's like, okay, meet me outside. So Ellie's like, they meet outside, and Ellie's like, what are you trying to accuse me of? And Nina's like, I know you're lying about your scar. Tell me where you really got the scar from. So she's like, oh, we did it after our friends died. They like scarred themselves or whatever. I was like, that's a lie. She lied. Nina's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do anything. She's like, how could you know? Why would I tell you that? That was none of your business. I was like, you didn't tell. You're lying. And so Nina asked her straight up. Nina said, where were you the night Joe died? So Ellie, we already know the truth. Ellie was like, oh, I was at home. Nina was like, no, you weren't, because I was at your house. And I talked to you, son. And she's like, are you trying to accuse me of killing Joe? She was like, you've only known him for a few months. I've known him for like 20-something years. I was like, that don't mean you couldn't kill that man. So Ellie started boo-hooing and crying. I was like, Nina finna fall for the waterworks. And lo and behold, she did. She told me she was sorry. But I was low-key scared for Nina out there, because I thought when Ellie asked her to go outside, I was like, oh, Ellie finna kill her. Girl, don't go out there. She finna drop dead out there. Don't go. But I tell you what, I am gonna give Ellie some leeway. Maybe Ellie didn't kill Joe. I'ma say maybe the whale lady killed Joe, and maybe Ellie found him right when Nina showed up, and then she heard Nina and was scared that she was gonna be caught, so she ran in here. That's what I'm gonna say. Let's see if my detective work is right. So like I said earlier, Scott had showed the Savinis the scene or whatever that they had filmed, and Gabe clocked it. And I was trying to figure out, Kinsey, I don't know why you ashamed now. You weren't ashamed last episode when you had Gabe out here playing with the music box. That's what I'm gonna call it, or the mimic box, because you let him play with it for a good 5-10 minutes and embarrassed old girl in the lunchroom. I don't know her name. Old girl in the lunchroom. You weren't worried about it then when you was high on your horse, honey, because you was upset because she had said some bad stuff about you and your little boo. Now you want to look stupid. No, ma'am. So Miss Kinsey comes out her face and says, oh, how about we film the next scene down in the sea caves? So everybody else is like, especially Scott, they was like, no, that's dangerous. People drown down there. She comes out her face, oh, but I've been down there. It's so cool. It's so, I'm like, when you go? When'd you go? 'Cause we ain't seen you go. When did you go? Sounds like you liar. So Gabe was like, oh, I think that's a great idea. I was like, of course you were. You got your head stuck so far up her. So if they decided, they were like, okay, we're going to go film down there. I was like, I can already tell this is a bad idea. So we finally see Bo. Like, this episode's been going on for quite some time now, and we finally see Bo. Bo, I thought it was a dream at first, but Bo's walking down the hallway, and of course, he starts to hear some whispers. So he follows the whispers, and he finds another key in a sewing room. And I was like, when did y'all get a sewing room? But okay, and who's sewing? So he finds the key, and he's trying to figure, walking through the house, trying to figure out where this key goes to. And y'all remember that, that like cabinet or whatever Nina had found down in the basement in the ping pong room that she had been restoring. Bo figured out the key went in there. So Bo stuck the key in, turned the key and opened it, and nothing happened. So then he stepped in it and closed the door. He was like, maybe it's like Narnia. I was like, okay. So he stepped in and then came back, and he thought he was in like another dimension or another time frame or something. But Nina came in and was like, oh, good morning, Bo. He was like, damn. So I don't know. That's weird. I wonder what that one does. And like, what is it? I don't know. They need to hear him tell us something. So Bo actually gives Nina the key. I guess he's like, well, it's useless. So he gives Nina the key. I'm like, okay, well, Nina got a key now. Now we just got to get her to believe in magic. So maybe she can get something to work. The detective calls Nina back to the police station. And so they're going to rule Joe's death as a suicide. And he's saying they're going to rule it as a suicide because it was coming up on the anniversary of Joe's wife's death. And I was like, that man did not kill himself. He was he was killed. Like, people don't, I don't know, but like, people don't usually like smother themselves like with bags, do they? I thought they normally, let me hush. But he does give Nina the box. So he gives Nina the box. And he's like, well, it's not evidence anymore. We didn't find anything in here. If you, I don't know what is going on here. If you want to take it, you can. I was like, okay, well, maybe she'll be able to look through this box and find whatever it was that Joe was trying to tell her. But it's a box full of pictures. So I'm just like, oh, well, what is it exactly he was trying to show her? Duncan is still laid out on the couch. He's saying that he's having like a bad like migraine or whatever. So I think it's his mom like trying to remember what he's seen, but at the same time, here's me going out on a limb. Randall used another key of some sort. I don't know what, but he used a key that even if Duncan seen his memories, he still wouldn't be able to remember, because I'm pretty sure Randall went through great lengths to try to keep his brother from remembering what he had seen. So I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with that. Now, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're going to find out, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So Duncan's laying on the couch and Bo's like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I think I'm almost, I've almost, tame this migraine or whatever. And Duncan's like, okay. So Duncan's like, well, I'm gonna go outside. And I was like, here we go, because every time you go outside by yourself, you getting snatched up or you finding something you ain't got no business, like, stay in the house. So he goes outside and he takes a trip to the cemetery. And I was like, who just goes to the cemetery as a child like that? No, sir. So he goes to the cemetery and then we see a shadow. And I was like, see, you're finna get plucked right now. Finna get plucked. So here comes the well lady talking about some, give me the keys. One last try. Hand them over. Bo says, no, I'm not giving them to you and you can't take them from me. So she said, okay, that's fine. Keep your little funky ass keys, because something big is coming and you're going to wish you had given me these keys, because it's going to affect your whole family and it's going to be your fault. I was like, oh, she's going to kill them all. They all finna be dead in the house. Then we hop to little old Sam, y'all. Here it is. Sam has got the key that sets stuff on fire. Sam let his stuff out his jail cell. And Sam started walking down the jail with the key setting it out aflame. I was like, oh my God. He's just going to kill everybody in there. You couldn't just leave. But no, you had to set everything on fire. He even stuck the key in one of the police officers and the man combusted like the man. In the first episode, I was like, what are you doing? So he leaves. Whole jail is on fire. I'm like, okay, well, he's out, and I'm pretty sure he's headed for Key House. The Savinis have made it down to the sea caves. They get in there, and everything is peachy keen at first. I was like, okay, it's not that bad. Maybe won't nobody drown, right? They're in the first opening of the sea caves. Everybody's like, oh, Kinsey, this is cool. This is a great idea. I'm glad we came. But Miss Kinsey is standing off to the side because she hears whispers. But it's further on down inside the sea caves. We know that's a bad idea. Kinsey says, I think we should go further in the caves. And everybody's like, oh, no, we should stay here. I think this is a good place. Gabe and his dick riding ass, oh yeah, let's go in further behind Kinsey. They go in further. Everybody lugs in. Remember, they've got all this filming equipment, right? So they all go in. They go in further, right? They get into another spot. Now, mind you, there was a place where there was like maybe like a puddle of water, right? So they get past that. They find a spot and they're like, oh, this is better. We're about to set up here. So they're setting up. And yet and still, Miss Kinsey takes off because she still hadn't made it to the whispering yet. So Kinsey rounds the corner and nobody has noticed. She rounds the corner and she finds this big old door, and it's got, remember that symbol that Sam has as a tattoo and that Nina found that Randall was drawing in his yearbook? Well, that symbol is on the door. So I'm like, okay, we need to find a key that looks like that. But she's pulling on it and pulling on it, pulling on it. It's not opening. It's not opening. The Savinis notice the water is rising in the cave, right? So they're like, oh shit, we gotta go or we're gonna drown. So, side note, By the way, this was a good backstory that Rendell used, and his friends drowned. They must have been down there time and time again to know that portion, the sea levels rose. I was like, smart, Rendell, you was smart. Okay, I see you. All right, you serial killer, I got you. So the water's rising, everybody's panicking, right? And now they're like, okay, we got to get out or we're gonna die. So that's when Scott's like, where the fuck is Kinsey? So Gabe is like, oh, I'm gonna go get her. Scott's like, no, I'll go get her. Gabe's like, no, I'll go get her. I'm like, you get him. Ugh. So Scott's like, okay, you go get Kinsey, I'm gonna get everybody else out. So they have to leave all of their filming equipment, and Scott and the two others, I don't know their names, Scott and the two others, they do make it back to the other side unharmed. Gabe goes to get Kinsey, and Kinsey is pulling on the door, and he's like, well, first he's awestruck. He's like, what is this? But then secondly, he's like, Kinsey, we gotta go. The water's rising. We're gonna drown. And at first, she don't want to leave. And I was like, leave her down there and let her drown. Because didn't nobody tell her to go down there in the first place trying to do the most. Leave her down there. Let her drown. So he's like, Kinsey, we got to go. So they leave. And by the time they get back down to where the water is, it's risen even higher. I'm like, oh my God, these children are not going to make it. So here they go. They're going through the water. They make it to the first little section where they can come up, breathe, catch some air. Gabe is looking a little shaky, like he not going to make it. I was like, Lord Jesus. He's like, I'm not going to make it. Kinsey's like, yes, you are. Bring your ass. So they go swimming, and they make it to the other side where everybody else is. When Kinsey come up and they see that everybody is all right, oh, Scott lost his shit. Scott said, how could you bring us down here? This was dangerous. You said you had been down here before. Everything was supposed to be smooth and okie dokie. And then she came back and said, I got more to worry about than this little film. I was like, oh, you don't call that boy film little? Oh, and she called it stupid. I was like, no, ma'am. That's it. Y'all finished. Y'all relationship is... So Scott said, I never should have trusted you. I was like, nope, you shouldn't have, because she out here self-serving, worried about her and these keys. Come to terms with it, baby. Your father is a murderer. He killed 3 of his friends. It just is what it is. Read the writing on the wall. Just it is what it is. So everybody left except for Gabe. And remember, they're also pissed as well because they left, all their filming equipment is gone now. Scott said he had to work hours and hours and hours at the ice cream parlor in order to earn the money to get the stuff back. Kinsey's talking about she can replace it. With what money? Okay, all right. They go back, I don't know whose house that was. I don't know if it was Gabe's or Kinsey's, but I think it was Kinsey's house though. Anyway, of course they go back. And I was like, this is going to be some mess. Because I don't like Gabe. And I already know it's about to be some mess. So here, Kinsey comes. I never should have made them go down there. I was like, you're right. You shouldn't have. Gabe get to talking about what was the door. She talking about some she don't know. But she think it got something to do with her daddy. So here comes Gabe talking about some, you're the only girl for me. You're my shooting star. He wasn't saying all this. I'm being dramatic. But this is basically what he was saying. You're my shooting star. You light up my world. This, that, and the third. I was like, And what does Kinsey do? Leaned in and kissed him. I said, okay, well, if there was any chance of you and Scott getting back together, that's gone. That is officially gone now. And why Gabe? Because I'm telling you, I feel like Gabe has ulterior motives. I don't know. I just feel like it's not going to be what you think it is. So they kiss or whatever. And I'm just like, ugh, here we go. I don't know what's going on with Tyler. But this day, he's supposed to be going to help Jackie with the 5K. The 5K is finally happening. Now, y'all remember this whole time he's been volunteering, helping Jackie, right? Well, now he's avoiding her. Okay? So, one of his friends is like, oh, we're having our party in celebration of Joe's death. I was like, all right. Tyler's like, okay, I'm going to be there. I'm like, what you mean you going to be there? You volunteer for the 5K. You just going to leave Jackie high and dry? Yep. He goes to the party, and Lucas, remember the guy with the amputated legs? He sees Ty, and he's like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be helping Jackie with the 5K. Tyler's like, oh, I think she can handle it or whatever. Like, you were supposed to be there too. And Luke is like, well, she wasn't really counting on me. She was counting on you. So Tyler exited that conversation quick, fast, and in a hurry. He was like, oh, let me get up out of here. He goes downstairs, and here comes Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. Javi and the other little boy. I was like, oh, Jesus, here they come talking idiocy. So they're talking about absolute nonsense. And who shows up at this party? The whale lady. I was like, bitch, what? So here she is, and of course she goes straight to Tyler. She goes straight to Tyler. They're flirting, they're having drinks, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, this is about to be chaos. So Jackie has been, by the way, calling and texting Tyler, like, where you at? You're supposed to be here. The 5K has started. Like, bruh. So Jackie makes it to the party. And somebody gave him a heads up, like, hey, bro, Jackie's here. So the whale lady runs off. You know, she been flirting with Tyler this whole time or whatever. So she runs off. Jackie comes in to Tyler, and she's like, what you doing? Like, how could you leave me like this or whatever? And Tyler's giving her this sob story of, I'm not good for you. Edward Cullen, leave me alone. I'm a bad guy. I'm like, oh, get out your head, sir. She's like, I just need you to just open up to me, talk to me, tell me about it. We'll work on it together. Tyler not trying to hear none of that, right? So basically, Tyler's like, you deserve better. She's like, that's something we both agree on. And she peaced out. I was like, oh, y'all over with too. Look at you. It's a track record of the family, ain't it? By the way, in this setting of the party, nobody noticed that the whale lady looked older than everybody else. Like, that should have been a red flag right there. Like, who is this adult woman in the party? She did not look a teenager. I was like, okay. So anyway, Tyler, leaves the party sulking, and he makes it to a convenience store. Who was outside the convenience store? The fucking whale lady. You want to hang out with me? I was like, go home. But of course, Tyler decides to hang out with the whale lady. I was like, don't do it. She gonna kill me. She's like, join me for a drink. His dumbass does, because he's thinking with his third leg. I was like, oh my God, somebody save the child. Save him. And hopping back real quick to Key House. Duncan is leaving Key House. He's coming down the driveway. The gates open. He leaves. And in enters Sam. Sam is now walking down the driveway of Key House. And I said, shit is about to get real. Also, by the way, Bo had ran and told Kinsey about what was going on. That he had seen the whale lady. But Kinsey acting like it don't really mean nothing. So, but she in hot water with me right now. Because she been in hot water with me for like 2 episodes now. Because I'm sick of her. Sick of it. So, I will see y'all in the next one. If there's anything you would like to add, of course, do so down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and bye!